ANC in Johannesburg, the chairperson, Panyaza Lesufi, saying the party's coalition partners have tabled Kabelo Gwamanda from the Al Jamaa party as their mayoral candidate. The city has been battling to keep a steady grip on the seat for some time. Lesufi says that the parties agreed that the candidate will still be from Al Jamaa following the recent resignation of Tapelo Ahmad, also from Al Jamaa.
The councillor or the mayor that resigned came from Al Jamaa, so the replacement must come from Al Jamaa. We are just doing a replacement. We are not reconstituting a new government. We are not reconstituting. That is why you will see immediately after his election, he will announce his mayoral committee today, because it's just continuation. So it was a principal position that we presented to the steering committee of the government of local unity, and the steering committee accepted that position, and they went to all their parties. And this morning we met, and all parties, without exception, indicated their willingness to support Kabelo Gwamanda to be our candidate. And let's wish him well, that he will represent the coalition. We learned, obviously, from those mistakes that you are alluding to. We are going to strengthen his office with the capacity and the skills that are needed. We are also putting almost 3 advisors on literally everything that affects governance, finance, and most importantly, to manage the stakeholder relations so that we don't have challenges that will create problems for us.
Well, the Democratic Alliance in Gauteng, the leader, Solim Simanga, says the party wants to be part of a coalition that can sustain itself until 2026.
We were saying that before we even talk about who gets to what position, can we talk about what we are going to then do? The people of Johannesburg don't really want this bickering about positions. They want services. That's what we were saying. What is the path to victory? What are we going to do to ensure that once we elect the MMCs and the mayor will stay until 2026? We said if you can guarantee to us that you will not then part once we then form this coalition, then we can then begin to then talk. And then the issue of who then gets to be put up is then something that can come after, once we have solidified the pact that, that says we will be here for the remainder of the term.
Let's stay with the DA's Solim Simanga, who is confident that Dr. Mpho Phalatse will return as mayor.
Well, I can tell you right now, we are the second biggest party here. We will put the numbers up. We will not betray the promise that we've made to the people of Johannesburg. Our ward councillors, our PR councillors will do what needs to be done here.
Let's take you to the courts now in Bloemfontein. The corruption trial of the former ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule has been set down for the 13th of April to the 23rd of June next year. Magashule appeared alongside several others in the Free State High Court today. They are accused of defrauding the Free State Human Settlements Department of 255 million rand in an asbestos removal tender. Govan Whittles was at court, and he joins us now. Govan, good morning to you. Let's start with what happened in court.
Thank you so much. We are outside the Free State High Court where the pre-trial hearing involving the asbestos corruption case has concluded. They finally set down a trial date. And the trial date is April next year, the 15th of April, when the asbestos trial will begin. The former Free State Premier Ace Magashule is accused of benefiting from essentially fraud and corruption involving that 255 million rand tender to remove asbestos roofing in the Free State. After all of the money had been dispersed to different companies, only about 20 million of it was used to remove the roofing. Ace Magashule, the former Premier, former ANC Secretary General, spoke at length about what he believes is a weak case of the state, also about his political plans for the future. We'll get into those. For now, let's speak to the Free State spokesperson for the NPA, Mr. Paladi Shuping. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Let's begin with this assertion that the state has a weak case. What do you think about what Ace Magashule, the accused here, says?
Well, unfortunately, it's not up to him to decide whether the state case is weak or strong. The responsibility that we have is to put our case, our evidence before the court, and you'll also get an opportunity to rebut whatever evidence that we'll be presenting before the court. At the end of the day, it will be the presiding officer who's going to make a decision as to whether there's supposed to be a conviction or an acquittal.
Why did the state ask for a postponement that's almost a year long?
That's the problem that we always encounter when we have a case where there are a lot of accused, because they've got a lot of legal representatives, and you find that it's not easy to get them available very soon. So the only date that where all the legal representatives and the state are available was that of the 15th of April next year.
The state's under a lot of pressure here to make sure that it doesn't bungle this case. The Nulane case spectacularly flopped, and this case, of course, also being linked to the Gupta family. Are you sure this will be a success?
Well, we are convinced that there is a case for all the accused to answer. Hence, we have taken a decision to place the matter on the court roll. We've got all available evidence that we're going to present before the court. And at the end of the day, it will be the presiding officers going to make a decision whether there was a case or not.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paladi Shipping, speaking to us just outside the Bloemfontein High Court. He's a spokesperson for the NPA. Well, Ace Magashule, of course, saying that he doesn't believe the state has any evidence against him. He's pointed to the fact that there aren't any witnesses that have been brought to testify against him in this matter. He says he's only accused of not practicing sufficient oversight over the Department of Human Settlements, which is the department that sent out that tender. With regards to his politics, Ace Magashule all but confirming that he's considering setting up a political party of his own. He says he's been confronted, or he's been approached by a number of people across different sectors in society asking him to do just that. He confirms that he's been going around the country speaking to a lot of communities, church groups, NGOs, trying to rally up some support. And he will, in all likelihood, launch this political party while out on bail. He says he believes his bail conditions allow him to do just that. He doesn't see anything wrong with it. And interestingly, Ace Magashule telling Newzroom Afrika in an interview we'll put out a little bit later that he'll be going to Nkandla in the next 2 weeks to go and consult with former President Jacob Zuma about his political future. He's also saying that he won't be voting for the ANC in next year's election, and that he'll tell South Africans who to vote for. Presumably it would be his party, since he's also confirmed he won't be running as an independent candidate. So a lot of politics coming out of the Free State High Court today from that interview with Ace Magashule, but he'll also have to prepare for the asbestos trial, which starts in April next year.
Very